correspondent Kaveh Solokul has hot-footed it into the studio for more on this, and this has escalated really quickly, hasn't it? Where did this all start to go wrong for Amorim?
Look, I think the bottom line is Manchester United are a very difficult club to manage, and Ruben Amorim felt that he was not the manager. He felt that he was being treated as the head coach, and I know his job title is the head coach, but when he took the job, he was given assurances that he would have a big say, he would be the one in charge. So I think his feeling is that there's been a power struggle behind the scenes. His relationship with the director of football, Jason Wilcox, has had its ups and downs. There have been some disagreements behind the scenes about their strategy during this transfer window. So this has been bubbling away for quite a while. And we know that Ruben Amorim is somebody who is very honest, can be quite emotional, says what he thinks in news conferences. And we have had hints that this was coming. And I think from his perspective, this has not come out of the blue. He is not surprised. He knew the writing was on the wall, but he feels that he has done a pretty good job overall. And if he'd kept his job, and if United had been willing to back him, he was very, very bullish that United would have finished.
Ski time to do this.
Absolutely. I think Ruben Amorim feels that if he'd been allowed to sign one or two experienced players this month, and once the players were away at AFCON had come back, then United would have had a very good chance of finishing in the top 5 places. And 5th will probably be good enough to get you in the Champions League this season. So he feels that progress was being made. It's a big, big risk to get rid of Ruben Amorim. Also, you're going to have to pay him off. We know how much it has cost Manchester United to pay off managers in the past. And if you look at the recent history of Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson left, you can make a very, very good argument that they should have stuck with every single manager that they actually ended up sacking. David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Okay, Eric Ten Hag, I think that one is debatable because of his record in the transfer market. But you could say all these managers, if they had been given more time, United would be in a better position than they're in at the moment. I have some sympathy with Ruben Amorim because Manchester United, not only are they one of the biggest clubs in the world, they're up there with the profile of a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, but they're different from those clubs because of the ownership structure. You've got the Glazer family who basically own the club. You've got some of the shares who traded on the New York Stock Exchange. You've got Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe who only own 30% of the club, but are actually running the club. Then you've got the fact that so many people have been laid off. There have been so many redundancies, cutbacks, and you've got new people in running the club who don't have much of a link with Manchester United. And then you've got Ruben Amorim and his coaching team who are trying to run the team and the football side, first team as well. So it's a very, very difficult job. Ruben Amorim saw this coming. And I think, in a way, Ruben Amorim has been the author of his own misfortune, because I think if he'd just kept quiet and hadn't been so honest and hadn't given quite so much away in news conferences, then maybe he would still have his job. But who knows? Maybe he didn't want the job anymore. Maybe he thought, as you could see from his performance in the news conference yesterday, it felt like he was a man who'd had enough. He was basically saying to the hierarchy at Manchester United, back me or sack me because I've had enough of this. And he was basically saying, I'm only going to be here for a maximum another 18 months anyway, and I'm not going to quit. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. And they have responded at the first opportunity, the earliest opportunity this morning, by saying to him, thank you very much, see you later.
Yeah, it's not backing, it's sacking is basically what they've done. You mentioned the way Manchester United is run there. Does Ineos' decision-making need to come under serious scrutiny again after this? Because they've made mistakes in the past, high-profile mistakes. This was their big decision, and it's ended like this. At a time when no one was really expecting it. They could have done this before.
They appointed Ruben Amorim knowing that he plays with three at the back. They knew what they were getting into. They knew that the way he plays goes against Manchester United's traditions. Dan Ashworth, for instance, somebody who was not in favour of Ruben Amorim being appointed, he ended up losing his job at Manchester United, in part over the decision to appoint Ruben Amorim. So, yes, Ineos have made big mistakes. I am now thinking of an interview that Jim Ratcliffe gave recently. And I remember being here on set with you, talking about it, when Jim Ratcliffe was having a go at the media. He was having a go at journalists. He was saying, we are going to back Ruben Amorim. We are not going to, I'm sorry here if I don't recall his exact words, but basically what he was saying is, I'm not going to listen to the opinions of journalists and columnists.
Any old journalists
who go off on one every day. We're going to back our managers. I took issue with what he said then, because the reporters who cover Manchester United are some of the best reporters in the business. They know the club inside out. And for him to say what he said, I thought was a little bit strange.
Tell you what, you don't need to paraphrase there, because we have that grab.
Zidane rumors swirl after Man United sack Amorim, but no deal yet. Manchester, UK, January 2026. Manchester United's managerial landscape has been thrown into fresh turmoil following the sacking of head coach Ruben Amorim, reigniting speculation around a high-profile successor, notably French legend Zinedine Zidane. United announced Amorim's departure on January 5, 2026, after a disappointing 14-month spell marked by inconsistent results and a fractious relationship with club leadership. The Portuguese coach leaves with a win rate of under 39% and the team sitting outside the Premier League's top four, prompting United to appoint Darren Fletcher as interim manager while they search for a permanent replacement. The Zidane question. Almost immediately, stories resurfaced linking Zinedine Zidane, the three-time UEFA Champions League-winning manager with Real Madrid, to the Old Trafford post, with pundits and former players urging the club to make a bold appointment. However, leading transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano has poured cold water on those rumors, reporting that there are currently no concrete talks between Zidane and Manchester United for the managerial position. Romano added that Zidane is instead likely to take the France national team job after the 2026 World Cup, where he has a verbal agreement to succeed Didier Deschamps. Why Zidane still matters. Despite the lack of formal negotiations, Zidane's name remains one of the most talked about managerial options, largely because of his exceptional track record at the highest level. The 53-year-old has enjoyed immense success in management, especially during his two spells at Real Madrid, where he guided the club to multiple La Liga and Champions League titles. Supporters and commentators argue that someone with Zidane's prestige and experience could bring stability and winning mentality back to a club that has struggled for consistent leadership since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. The bigger picture at Old Trafford. While United continues its search, the club's leadership faces broader questions about its managerial strategy and identity. With reports insisting Zidane is not currently a candidate, attention has shifted to a list of alternative names, from promising tacticians to seasoned Premier League bosses, as United seeks a long-term solution. For now, Zidane's mystique ensures his name won't vanish from the conversation, but Old Trafford's next coach remains uncertain and likely won't be confirmed until the summer at the earliest.